One, today I'll share with you a project called AutoTune. We try to use a machine learning method to tune database performance. As we know, database is a very critical software for data storage and data access. And meanwhile, we can see the performance of the database uh, is uh, change a lot if we change the configuration of the database. Here we show the motivation of our project. This is a benchmark tools which will generate the similar behavior of the application to the database. We install the Postgres database, and now the benchmark generates a workload which simulates the behavior of the application. It's a TPCC workload. And now we can see this is a TPM called transaction per minute. This benchmark will record the real-time performance of the database. We can see here we running the database with the default configurations, and the database performance for this database roughly is uh, 27,000 transactions per minute. Let us make it step. Roughly is 25, 20, 20. We let it to 25,000 transactions per minute. This is default setting for the database. But right now, we copy a new configuration file of the database and restart the database services. You can see we do not change anything, do not change the data, do not change the benchmark tools, and using the same benchmark tools running the same workload to the same database but with different configuration. Right now we can see the performance of Postgres with a new configuration. Is just now the performance is 25,000 TPM, right? And here with a new configuration, the transaction, the performance of the database is reached nearly 4 times compared with the default setting, or even higher, even higher. Here is 5 times. So this experience shows that the motivation of our project is uh, the database, the configuration is will influence the performance of the database a lot. So tuning a database is a very critical task for improve the performance of the company. So, but currently, the company will hire the very professional expert called DBA to tuning a database, because tuning a database is not an easy task. Here I will show you why it's difficult. For a database configuration, there are to tuning a database, there are two challenges. The first one is the configuration of the database is very difficult because there are huge number of the configuration items which we call the knobs existing in the database. We can see here the sample of the knobs, which means the item provided from Postgres database. We can see here for the database there are many items we can change the parameters, such as checkpoint time, which means uh, how many times we flush the data from the memory to the disk, and such as the background writer and which indicates the frequency of the data flash, how frequency the data flash from the memory to the disk, and also for share memory size. There are lots of the knobs existing in to tuning a database. So uh, most of them are changed based on the behavior of the workload. So the first challenges for tuning a database is there are many configuration knobs you can modify, and you do not know which item you should change and which item you should increase or decrease for a specific workload. So this is the first challenge for of tuning a database. The second challenge of the tuning a database is when a new workload coming, you should find the characteristics of the new workload. And inside of the database, they provide several parameters with so-called the matrix, internal matrix to capture the behavior of the workload. We can show you the matrix. This is a classic matrix item. Same as the configuration items. There are many items captured from the internal of the Postgres database. We can see such as a different index scan time, such as a read or write count, how many times the database read data from disk, how many times it's write from memory to disk. So, and also there are more than 1600 items of matrix which describes the, the workload feature. So analysis such kind of the matrix is also a very big problem. So based on these two challenges, our project is trying to propose to use the machine learning method to find the uh, find the workload behavior, and meanwhile we try to provide a recommendation for for the database to tuning and to improve uh, their performance. So what we provide is database configurations.